We came home from a weekend getaway to find our locks changed. Our neighbor was standing on the porch with a clipboard. This property was reported vacated. I'm taking custodial possession until the transfer is settled. I thought it was a sick joke. Then a process server showed up, with an eviction notice filed in my name, against myself. Turns out, he'd created a fake LLC. Claimed our home was his rental property. And he was suing me for squatting. My name's Marcus. I live, or used to live, in a quiet neighborhood just outside Tucson, Arizona. My wife, Sarah, and I bought our house 6 years ago. It was a small ranch-style place. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. Paid off. Every repair done with our own hands. Sarah taught school, and I drove delivery routes across the city, sometimes 10-hour days. We weren't rich, but we were solid. We'd planted trees in the backyard. Watched them grow. Hosted holidays. That house held our whole damn life. Everything started when we got back from a weekend trip to Sedona. Sarah surprised me with it. Just 2 nights, no cell service, just hiking and quiet. We came back Sunday evening, around 6 p.m. The sun was still out. I pulled into the driveway, tired but happy. Then I saw something was off. Sarah tried to unlock the front door and the key didn't fit. She tried again, jiggled it, looked at me confused. I went to try myself, and the lock had definitely been changed. That sick feeling hit me right in the chest. And then I saw Greg. Greg was our neighbor. Mid-50s, always wore khakis and polos, walked around like he ran the whole street. Clipboard in hand 24/7. I always thought he was weird but figured he was harmless. The kind of guy who called the city if your grass was half an inch too tall. Turns out, he was worse than I ever imagined. Greg stood on our porch with that damn clipboard and didn't even look up right away. He said, flat as can be, "This property was reported vacated. I'm taking custodial possession until the transfer is settled." I stood there staring at him, trying to figure out if it was a joke. "What the hell are you talking about?" I asked. He looked me in the eye for the first time and said, "You've been squatting here since July. This home belongs to Maricopa Property Holdings LLC. I'm the acting agent assigned to oversee it." I was speechless. Sarah grabbed my arm, her voice shaking. "This is our house. We live here." He tapped his clipboard. "Take it up with the court. As of now, you're not allowed on the property." I looked at the window and saw a piece of paper taped there. Notice of unlawful occupancy. It had my name on it. Said I was being evicted for squatting. Filed by some company I'd never heard of. The paper said I had to vacate immediately or face arrest. I looked back at Greg. "You changed our locks? While we were out of town?" He didn't even blink. "I acted within my rights under custodial possession laws," he said like he was reading from a script. I couldn't believe it. This guy, this neighbor I'd waved to for years, had literally locked us out of our home. We called the police. The deputy who showed up tried to stay neutral, but it was clear he didn't know what to do. He looked at the notice on the window, looked at us, and said, "If there's a civil case pending, I can't get involved." I lost it. We didn't sell our house. We didn't move out. He broke in and changed our locks. The deputy said, "That may be true, but you'll need to fight it in court." As we were standing there, a man walked up holding an envelope. "Marcus J?" he asked. I nodded. "You've been served." I opened it up. It was real. Someone filed a lawsuit against me. It said I was illegally occupying a property owned by Maricopa Property Holdings LLC. The plaintiff? The LLC. The defendant? Me. The documents were filled with lies. A fake lease with a forged signature. A fake deed saying the house had been sold months ago. Fake emails from a fake tenant claiming we had agreed to leave. Greg stood there smug as hell while we read through it. I wanted to knock his teeth in. That night, we slept in the car. Outside our own house. Our dog was inside. Our clothes. Sarah's grandmother's wedding ring. Everything. And the court date? It was the next morning. We didn't even have a lawyer. We got maybe 2 hours of sleep in the car. Sarah kept crying, whispering about our dog, Daisy, locked inside. I wanted to break a window, climb in, grab our things, but I knew that's exactly what Greg was hoping for. One call and we'd be the ones in jail. That bastard was smart. The next morning, we walked into Pima County Courthouse still wearing our weekend clothes. No lawyer. Just 2 people trying to fight something we didn't even understand yet. The courtroom was small, just a few pew-style benches and a bored-looking judge with a stack of files in front of him. Greg was already there, dressed like he was going to church, sitting beside a lawyer I'd never seen before. I remember gripping Sarah's hand as the judge called our case. Maricopa Property Holdings versus Marcus J., defendant present? Right here, I said. The judge flipped through papers. This states that you have been unlawfully occupying a rental property after termination of lease and failure to vacate. Is that accurate? No, I said, trying not to lose it. That's our house. We own it. The judge raised an eyebrow. Do you have documentation? I handed him the only thing I had, a copy of the deed from when we closed 6 years ago, and a recent tax receipt. He looked at it for a minute, then turned to Greg's lawyer. This LLC was formed 3 months ago, the judge said. And yet it's claiming to have owned the property since July? Greg's lawyer nodded real smooth. Yes, Your Honor. The prior owners defaulted on a private loan and transferred the deed. We have the documents here. I stood up. That's not true. We never took out any loan. We've owned the house outright for years. He handed over more papers, more lies. A fake lien. A fake transfer of ownership. My signature, copied and pasted. Sarah looked like she was going to throw up. The judge looked between us. This is messy, he said. But it's not going to be resolved in an eviction hearing. He paused. Until a higher court makes a ruling on ownership, the court will issue a temporary occupancy injunction. No one enters the home until ownership is verified. So now no one could go in. Not even us. We left the courthouse numb. And then the real nightmare began. Greg had been busy. In the weeks that followed, we found out he had set up the LLC himself. It wasn't even hard, just a few clicks online. He filed it under an Arizona P.O. box and named himself as a property manager. He even used a fake email address to rent the home to an imaginary couple who never showed up. We tried reporting it. Went to the cops, the sheriff's department, even the FBI. Everyone kept saying it was a civil matter. Our own lawyer told us it might take months to sort it out. In the meantime, our house sat empty. Our stuff was still inside. Daisy, thank God, had been picked up by animal control after Greg called them to report an abandoned dog. She was safe. But our lives? Torn apart. Sarah moved in with her sister. I slept on my buddy Reggie's couch. We were married but barely saw each other. Every day I'd drive past that house and see Greg on the porch, watering the lawn like it was his. He even put up a "for rent" sign. That was the moment something inside me snapped. I couldn't take it anymore. Seeing Greg every day in my yard like it belonged to him. Watching him wave at the neighbors like nothing had happened. Some of them believed him, too. He told everyone we skipped town and left the house abandoned. One woman at the grocery store even told me, "He's doing a good thing cleaning that place up." I wanted to scream. But I kept quiet, because I knew I had to start thinking smarter than him. He was playing dirty, and legally. I had to find a way to outplay him. So I started digging. First thing I did was track down the paperwork he submitted to register. Maricopa Property Holdings LLC. Arizona has a public business registry online. Took me 10 minutes. And sure enough, there it was, Greg's name listed under registered agent. Same last name, same address. He didn't even try to hide it. But that wasn't enough. Then I started looking at the tenant Greg claimed had moved in. The lease in the court papers had a name on it, Jalen Marquez. I ran it through every site I could. No records. No address. No social media. Nothing. That person didn't exist. The lease had a phone number though. I called it. It went straight to voicemail. The message? "You've reached the offices of Maricopa Property Holdings. Please leave a message." It was Greg's voice. He didn't even change it. So he created a fake LLC, invented a tenant, forged our signatures, and then tried to sue us for squatting. All while living one door over. But here's where it got worse. A friend of mine, Nate, works in title research. I gave him the parcel number from our deed and asked him to look into any liens filed in the last year. That's when he called me, sounding real concerned. "Man," he said, "there's a lien on your property from a private lender in Florida. Claims you borrowed $40,000 6 months ago and failed to pay. It's notarized, signed by you." I had never borrowed anything. He emailed it to me. I opened it, and my blood went cold. The signature looked exactly like mine. Like it had been scanned from some document and copied onto the lien. Whoever did this didn't just steal our house. They created a whole paper trail to make it look legal. And Greg? He was still walking around like he was the victim. Then something happened that pushed me over the edge. Sarah called me one night in tears. She'd gotten an email from her school district's HR department. Someone had filed a complaint against her, anonymously. Said she was under financial investigation and living on school property. Total lies. But it was enough to get her suspended while they looked into it. Greg was trying to destroy us piece by piece. He wasn't just trying to steal the house. He wanted us broken, separated, ruined. That's when I realized it wasn't random. It was personal. I started thinking back. Greg had always hated me. I mowed the lawn too early. My truck was too loud. I didn't respect HOA policies. But this was something else. And then I remembered, 4 years ago, Greg tried to buy our house. Back when Sarah and I first moved in, Greg came over with a beer in hand and said, "You know, if you two ever think about moving, I'd be willing to make an offer. Good one, too. Been eyeing this place for years." I laughed him off. A few months later, he came back with a number, $175,000. We said no. The place was worth more, and it was our home. He didn't take it well. Stopped talking to us. Gave dirty looks across the fence. Started reporting us to the HOA for every tiny thing. Now I was putting it together. This whole thing, it was revenge. Revenge for rejecting his offer. For not selling him the house. For not bowing down. He wanted it so bad, he was willing to fake an entire legal process to take it. Well, I was done being quiet. It was time to burn everything down. I knew what I had to do. I'd already gathered proof. The fake LLC, the forged lease, the false lien, the fake tenant. But that wasn't enough. I needed someone who could help me take it apart, legally and loudly. I found her through a friend of a friend. Camille Navarro, a real estate attorney who specialized in fraud cases. She looked through the documents and didn't even blink. "This is a full-blown title theft scam," she said. "And your neighbor is an idiot for leaving his name on everything." Camille got to work. First, she filed a motion in civil court to halt all pending actions under the LLC, including the eviction. Then she filed a quiet title lawsuit, basically a legal request to clear our name and prove we were the rightful owners. While that moved forward, I went to war in my own way. Remember that voice mailbox Greg set up? I left a message, pretending to be someone interested in renting the house. A day later, he called back. He didn't even change his voice. I recorded the call. "Yeah, the property's available. We're finalizing a transfer, but we're showing the unit now. Just between us, the last people squatting there are getting cleared out." That recording went straight to Camille. Then we pulled security camera footage from a neighbor across the street. It showed Greg walking up to our door the weekend we were gone, with a locksmith. The last straw? Camille got a digital forensics guy to analyze the lien document with my fake signature. It had metadata showing it was created on Greg's home computer. The case started building fast. Fraud. Forgery. Filing false documents. Title theft. And then, one day, the cops finally came, but not for us. I was sitting in Sarah's sister's kitchen when I got the call. Camille said, "He's been arrested. Sheriff's deputies just served a warrant. He's in custody." I rushed to the house. Police tape across the driveway. Greg's face plastered in the local news that night. Homeowner caught in elaborate property fraud scheme. They found dozens of forged documents in his garage. He'd done this before. We weren't his first target, just the first to fight back. Sarah and I got the house back within weeks. The quiet title suit cleared the deed. Camille filed for damages, and we won. Greg had to pay every penny we spent fighting him, plus punitive damages. He lost everything. The HOA kicked him out. His house went into foreclosure after the arrest. He's now serving time, 3 felony counts and a public record that will follow him forever. But here's the part that still gets me. When we moved back into our home, we found something in the crawl space. A small box. Inside it? A notebook. Greg's. Full of notes, sketches, property addresses, numbers, even plans to rebrand Maricopa Property Holdings into a nationwide rental scam. He wasn't just stealing our home. He was building a criminal empire from his damn porch. I made one mistake. I ignored the warning signs. I laughed him off. Treated him like a joke. I thought people like him couldn't hurt us. But I learned. And I made sure he'd never do it to anyone again. Some days I still walk through the house just touching the walls. Like I have to make sure it's real. That we're really back. That we really won. And every time I do, I think of Greg, sitting in a cold cell, with nothing but time to think about what he lost. I hope it eats him alive.